Hi, I'm Cecelia of Bitch on the Rise.
And I'm Theresa of Joyberry Studios.
And we're two sisters who love crafting.
We wanted to find a fun way to document our makes and things that we're passionate about.
This podcast is just a chill hangout for anyone who loves making stuff, whether it's sewing, knitting, baking, or just getting crafty.
We don't take ourselves too seriously, and we're all about tackling new projects and learning new skills.
We don't focus on perfect, we focus on making it anyways and having fun along the way.
It's like a creative catch-up with friends who relate to the joy of being creative.
Just crafty chats, cozy vibes, no pressure.
Welcome to our podcast, Make It Anyways. All right, Cecelia, let's talk current projects. What are you working on?
Yeah, so I just finished the Sunday dress by My Keeper.
It looks so good. Did you use it in your engagement photos?
I used it in my engagement photos. If I have
So
some back
exciting.
in time, I'll post them here for you to see. But that was really cool and really exciting because I wanted to make my wedding dress, but that wasn't going to happen. I don't have that skill level. So it was cool to make my engagement photo dress.
That is very exciting.
And then I'm still working on my hibernal sock.
Okay, but how far are you?
So I know I've said I've been working on this hibernal sock literally since the episode started, but
You have been.
I know.
It's your winter project.
You have to make 2 socks.
It is hard.
Right? So I finished the 1 sock and the second sock is going very quickly and I think I'm going to finish it here soon.
Okay.
So
Is it your winter goal?
actually my winter goal for knitting, well, I guess my yearly goal for knitting was to knit 1 project, which was going to be the hibernal, but then I did the melt the ice hat. So
Oh, okay.
I didn't come up with winter goals because I was too late to get my yearly goals done. So I'll definitely have some spring goals.
We'll touch base in the spring.
Yeah, we will. Theresa, what are you working on?
So let me think. I finished piecing together my scrappy quilt top, which was very exciting. And then last night I made the quilt sandwich, which always takes so much longer than anticipated. The quilt sandwich is you take the piece where you've sewn all the little pieces together, the quilt top, and then you put a batting in between, and then you put on a backer of fabric, and then you either spray an adhesive between all the pieces to hold it together, or you can pin it. And I just pin it because I don't know why.
Just
I
seems
just pin
easier,
it.
maybe.
I don't know. I've always started pinning it, so I just pin it. So I did that all last night. It took me over an hour to get it all done because you need to iron everything.
that's a lot.
And then it's also big, so I feel like I'm stepping on it, and then I smush up one part, and then it just takes forever.
Yeah.
So anyways, I finished my quilt sandwich, which I'm really excited about. And then something else that's exciting is I started taking a ceramics class.
How fun! Where at?
So it's just at our local community center, and it's a very low-key class. It's just hand building, so I'm not doing the wheel. I felt like the
Nice.
wheel took too long and to learn, and I just wanted to make a few things out of clay and have them be glazed beautifully and stuff, and I think I can get those few things done in this class.
Oh, how fun! How exciting!
Yeah, so I'm excited about that.
I've been dying. I want to take Columbus Parks and Rec has a bookmaking class that I've been dying to take.
You should do it.
Well, I think the current offering is Tuesdays from 1 to 4. So
Oh, don't do it.
yeah,
Take a night class.
Not for the 9 to 5 girly.
Maybe my next pottery class, you can come join with
That
me.
would be fun.
Yeah.
Can I come even though I don't live where you live?
You just have to pay the non-resident fee.
Boo. Maybe we can say that I live in your house.
Okay, we'll see.
This week's episode, we're talking all about doing a garden. So, in your garden, you often will grow vegetables. So, Theresa, what is your favorite vegetable?
Ooh, so my favorite vegetable to grow are peas, sugar snap peas and snow peas.
Okay.
Those are delicious, but they're so expensive at the grocery store.
Yeah, they really are.
And I don't think they're very good at the grocery store, but if you grow them in your garden, it's next level. They're really
Amazing.
good. What about you?
My favorite vegetable is to eat is a potato. I mean, who doesn't
Potatoes
love a
are
potato?
good. I love the versatility.
Everyone loves a potato.
Okay.
You can eat it like a French fry. My favorite way is to eat it smashed.
Oh, where it's crispy?
Smashed
really
and
good.
crispy. That's the best kind, especially if it's a mini potato smashed and crispy. Yes, please. Okay, so you said sugar snap peas or just peas in general?
No, so I feel like whenever you say peas, people think of the frozen bag of peas.
Yes.
No, not that.
Oh.
The only way I eat frozen bag of peas is if you mix it into macaroni and cheese.
Well, yeah, mac and peas, the way to go.
Mac and peas. No, I love like sugar snap peas
Sugar snap peas. Okay.
and snow peas.
I don't know what a snow pea is, I guess.
It's
so.
like a sugar snap. You know how sugar snap peas are like thick?
Okay.
A snow pea is very thin.
Oh, I like the snow peas.
Yeah, snow peas
Yeah.
are good, but they're expensive at the grocery store and hard to find.
Follow-up question. What's your favorite vegetable to eat?
Brussels sprouts.
Really?
I do love a good roasted Brussels sprout. And then Minimalist Baker has this like miso Brussels sprouts where you roast the Brussels sprouts and then you toss them in this like miso dressing afterwards, and it is delicious.
Can you grow a Brussels sprout?
No, I cannot.
Okay. Lovely.
I
We're
cannot.
learning a lot right now.
I cannot
guys.
grow a Brussels sprout. Maybe you can, but I can't.
I haven't been able to grow anything except this half-dying plant here, and behind Theresa is another half-dying
We
plant.
should do an episode on houseplants.
We should, and we can interview Mom.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
I love that idea. Let's
Hold on.
interview our mom.
We should text her right now. On this week's episode, we're talking all about how to grow your own garden. So, Theresa is really the garden expert here. So we're going to do like a little interview style where like I kind of ask her questions because she's experienced, I'm not. So no matter where you fall, hopefully you gain something today from this episode.
Yes, Cecelia built her first garden beds to do like vegetable gardening and fruit
Yes.
gardening
In the fall.
in the fall. So this is going to be like her first year, and I'm on year like 5 or so, but I have like a big garden. Yeah, I actually haven't been gardening for that long.
She has a huge garden that she had to like get a permit for and everything. So
Yes.
she's really into
Well,
it.
my neighbor complained about it. So we got a fence permit because we have deer in our area. So we grew one of those like enclosed garden beds. It's like 8 feet by 24 feet. And then we've added some raised beds along the side with like fruits and stuff.
Huge, absolutely
fun.
huge garden.
It's fun.
So,
I'll share
yeah.
some pictures too on the podcast and in the show notes, and they'll be on my Instagram and stuff. But
Good,
I
yes.
love a garden. I feel like gardening can be intimidating at first.
It is intimidating. There's a lot to learn and a lot to like know to be successful. So
Exactly. Yeah.
it's a lot.
So one thing though, with our podcast, Make It Anyways, I feel like we're all about just like diving into things. And in this episode, I kind of want to give listeners like an idea of where to start, and knowing that you don't have to like become a homesteader if you want to start growing your own fruits and vegetables. You can like start small. You can also like spend as little money as you want. You do not have to go like super diving into the deep end. This podcast is all just going to be about all the different ways to start gardening and about the different plants, and then you can like choose your own adventure.
Exciting.
So if you want to get into vegetable gardening, I feel like there are 3 different kinds of ways that you can plant your vegetables. You can have a simple container garden, which is just like pots that you would put like out on a porch or something.
Like something you could buy from the store.
Yes, just like a pot. Like if you just want to grow lettuce in a pot, that's
Amazing.
a container garden.
Love. Okay.
And then there's also in-ground beds. That's like if you wanted to just take like a flower bed that you already have, and then you could just like rip out some flowers and then instead plant like kale there.
Or just like pull up grass and like.
You could just pull up grass. Yeah.
Okay.
And then the third option is raised beds. And this is what you think of as like a traditional garden, like vegetable garden, I feel like. They're just like beds that are sitting and then they have walls.
Yeah.
So sometimes they're metal and sometimes they're wood.
Yeah.
And you built some last fall.
I did. I built some in the fall. It's now like late February. So hopefully by the time we get around to planting stuff in them, they'll be good to go. But we filled them, we did them in the fall so that we could fill them with all of the like yard waste from the fall. So all of the leaves, all of the small twigs, so that they can decompose over the winter, hopefully. Fingers crossed.
Yes.
And then it would be like good soil here come spring. So
Wonderful.
yeah, we built 3 raised beds out of cedar fence posts.
Yes.
That was affordable, I found.
That was like a really good option. Usually people like to build raised beds out of cedar because cedar doesn't rot very easily. And it's also not pressure treated wood. You do not usually want to use pressure treated wood because it has like chemicals in it, and you don't want to have those chemicals leach into your dirt and then into your plants that you then eat. But raised garden beds are like a very common, accessible option that people like to do. They can get really expensive if you're buying like thick cedar wood. So you can buy the cedar fence posts instead. Cecelia, you also use these like bricks.
Oh yeah, we found these little bricks at Home Depot. I'll post a picture of them here, but they were super easy. They are like, I don't even know how to describe them, like 4 blocks, and then you can stick the fence post like in the inlet in the brick. So it like kind of holds its shape. So we bought those and they were really affordable too.
And that's like, instead of nailing them together or screwing together the boards, you just like set them in these like blocks.
Which is really great because we can just remove the blocks and remove the whole bed in like an afternoon if we need to.
Yeah. So that's one way to build a raised bed. There are also like metal raised beds that are super popular right now. You could also get one of those, but if you go out to the garden store and just like buy bags of soil, dirt is so expensive.
Dirt is expensive.
You would never, like when I started gardening, I was like, oh, dirt's free because dirt is just in the ground. But no, not at all.
Not.
You could spend like hundreds of dollars buying dirt.
Yes.
And I have spent hundreds of dollars buying
have we.
dirt. So if you were building a raised bed to save money, you can put some like compostable things in the bottom of your raised bed
Like
to
we
save
did.
money. Yes. Yeah. So you can put in leaves, you can put in like sticks, you could put in like a little bit of like kitchen scraps that are just vegetables and fruit. You don't want to put anything that's like fat on it. So if you put like corn on the cob with butter and salt, you would want to put like that into your garden. But if you like peeled an apple, you could put an apple core in the garden. You can also put in like straw, cardboard boxes. Some people would do shredded paper, but I get a little iffy about ink. Like I think ink can be a little weird. With cardboard, you don't want it to be like the laminated cardboard, just like the brown cardboard. But those are all options of things that you can do to put in your raised beds to try to save money.
Yeah.
But you will want to have like the top, like I would say like 6 inches to be dirt.
Like good soil
good
dirt.
soil,
Yeah.
good soil dirt. And if you do get dirt from like somewhere in your yard, you just have to be careful because it could have a lot of like weed seeds in it.
That's why when we did ours in the fall, we put a layer of cardboard over top of the whole thing to hopefully like kill off anything heading into the spring. So that hopefully will work. I'll update you guys in a couple weeks when it actually starts growing.
Let's talk about some pros and cons of each of these 3 different kinds of garden beds. So if you have a raised garden bed, I would say pros for that is they typically are not as weedy. You can kind of keep the weeds out a little bit easier, and they're also like up off of the ground. So that means that you can like tend to them a little bit easier. I would say a con is expense. So especially if you buy, like, if you make one out of like the thick cedar wood, that can be really expensive. Also, just getting all the materials to fill into that bed can also be expensive.
Yeah.
Let's talk about container beds or container gardens next. So a container garden are like pots. So you can go to the garden store and buy those pots. Sometimes I get a little weird about like growing in plastic pots.
Okay.
Just because I feel like that plastic really breaks down in the sun and then can like leach into your food. Also, terracotta pots are another like cheap pot, but the problem with terracotta pots is they dry out very quickly.
So fast.
So if you have terracotta pots, those are like, you're gonna have to water them every single day. So let's talk pros and cons for the container garden. So container gardens are like pots that you would put on like a porch or something. So pros for that is that it's usually like small and manageable and a really good garden if you were to live in like an apartment or something like that.
Or movable. You can move it around.
Yeah, you can also move it around. So maybe you're moving midsummer or something like that. You want to take your garden with you. You could do a container garden. The cons, though, are that they do need a lot of water since they tend to dry out really quickly, especially if you have like a terracotta pot. Those pots will need to be watered every single day maybe morning and night, depending on like how hot and dry it is.
Wow.
So that can be hard. And then another thing to be aware of, if you have a container garden, you will need to buy like a container variety of plants. So like if you want a tomato plant, you can't just take like a normal tomato plant and put it in a pot, because those roots need to go down really far. You have to buy varieties of plants that are like bred and designed to grow in containers. Yeah.
That is really good to know, because I don't think most people would know that.
No, I don't think so. And they are a little bit harder to find.
Okay.
So that's just something to be aware of. And then the third kind of garden that we discussed just a little bit is just an in-ground bed. One problem with an in-ground bed, a con, is that you can have a lot of weeds. So there are usually like weeds in the dirt and in the soil or nearby that they can grow into your garden bed. So that can be a little bit harder. Also, typically, like the soil that you just have just like sitting in the ground probably is not great soil. So one thing I didn't know when I started gardening is there's like really good soil and there's really bad soil. And you most likely have really bad soil.
Yeah.
If it's just like out in your yard somewhere. So a lot of times you'll have to add like a lot of compost and stuff to bring the nutrients back to the soil, because then the plants that you grow end up using those nutrients to make the nutrient dense food that are like vegetables and fruits.
I know when my partner started really putting a lot of time and effort into our lawn, he got our soil tested. So maybe that's something that could be good if you're deciding to go that route with your garden.
Yes, absolutely. So you can get tests done. You can also do like heavy metal tests. So for example, if you live kind of next to where there's been like construction and stuff like that, or like older houses, you might have lead in your soil. So you can usually contact your extension office, which is usually associated with a university.
Oh,
and
cool.
the extension office is like, they are like your gardening and growing resource. So like we can contact like the OSU extension office if we have questions. I went to the OSU extension office to get like a soil test kit.
Nice.
Yeah.
Love that.
So lots of things that you can do.
So Theresa, with all these 3 different types of gardens, like cool, great, we've decided which ones we want to do, but like how do you decide where it needs to go?
Yeah, so the location of your garden is really important for it being productive. So in order to have like a lot of fruits actually grow in your garden, you need to make sure that you have plenty of sunshine. So you want to choose a spot on your property that gets at least 8 hours of sunlight if you want to grow something that fruits. And the fruit isn't just always something sweet. It's anything that you would like pluck off of a plant.
Like a green bean.
A green bean is technically like the fruit of the green bean plant. Or like tomatoes, cucumbers, all of those things need a lot of sunshine. But if you don't have like quite as much sun, if you have a little bit less than that, you can still grow like leafy greens. So you can still grow like herbs and lettuces and stuff like that.
So is my garlic going to grow if during the spring it doesn't get full sun?
I think it will still be okay.
Okay.
I think it will still be fine. There's also a difference between like it's in dense shade versus like dappled sunshine. So dappled sunshine is like if the sun is coming through leaves on a tree.
Okay.
So there's a difference there too.
Okay. So ideally like full sun 8 hours a day.
Yes. Yep.
Okay. Amazing.
And one thing to also know about gardening is that if you want to grow things like tomatoes or cucumbers or certain kinds of green beans or peas, you need to have them on a trellis. So that's something that you'll also have to incorporate into your garden. There are multiple different ways. You've seen like tomato cages before.
Yeah.
I feel like tomatoes, the problem with these plants is they're just like not strong enough to support themselves.
But they want to grow up.
They want to grow up, and then they also have all this heavy fruit. So in order to like keep it off of the ground, you have to put it in like a tomato cage.
Okay.
Same thing with like peppers, cucumbers. A lot of things have to be trellised. I like buying cages, and then I've also just taken like garden mesh or like you could take like chicken wire and just build kind of like a panel and have things trellis up that.
And do you have to like guide them up the trellis when you do it?
You actually don't. It's actually so cool. The plants will send out these like little like feelers, and they'll kind of like move around, and once they feel something, they'll like wrap around it and then use that to grow up.
Like my clematis.
Yes, but it's also funny because sometimes they'll find other plants.
Not great.
And then they'll be like, I'm going to grow up this tomato cage or something. And you're like, no, get on the fence.
Oh.
But yeah.
Okay, Theresa, so I started my garden in the fall, and I planted my garlic then.
Yes.
Because you told me to, but when do I plant the rest of the things that I want to grow?
So one thing that's kind of hard about gardening, at least in the beginning, is like each plant is very specific. So you can only plant, like certain plants thrive in certain conditions. So garlic, for example, I love planting garlic. You plant it actually in the fall, and it kind of spends all winter growing its roots. And in the spring, it will shoot up. And then it kind of like thrives in the spring, and then you end up harvesting it around like July.
Oh, fun. Okay.
Which is fun. But I feel like a lot of people think of gardening and vegetable gardening as like a summer activity, but there are actually a lot of really good plants that you can grow in your garden before your last frost.
Okay. When's the last frost?
So for us, I think it's like mid to late April in Ohio, but you would want to look it up for wherever you live. So there are certain plants that can deal with a frost. And certain plants like do better in cooler temperatures.
So some plants you would plant before that last frost, and some plants you're going to plant after, right?
Correct.
Okay.
So some plants that you can plant before that last frost that do well in that cooler temperature are like spinach. Technically, you could go like throw some spinach seeds out during like a warmer period during the winter, and they will grow, they'll sprout, and then they won't die back if there's a frost. So you can...
That's crazy because spinach is so fragile.
I know, but it like loves the cold. It's a cold weather vegetable. You can also plant radishes pretty quickly, and radishes are fun because they grow pretty quickly.
Oh, that's great.
So that's like a really fun way to get like a good first vegetable harvest like early on that you can feel really like good about. And usually people don't like eating radishes, but I found if you roast them, they actually are less bitter.
Ooh.
Yeah, so I like roasted radishes. The last like cool season plant that I personally like to plant is lettuce. Lettuce is really easy to plant. Usually you just take some seeds and scatter them on the soil and they germinate pretty well. And that's like a really good way to get like mixed greens, or you can plant like and grow little heads of lettuce, which are really cute.
Like iceberg?
I've never grown iceberg because I don't really like it, but you can grow like a romaine or like a baby bib. Do you ever go to the grocery store and then they have those like 4 little baby heads of lettuce?
Bib is like, so expensive too.
Yeah, some lettuces can be really expensive, but you can grow them.
Amazing.
You can grow them.
Okay, so what are some things that we're planting after the first frost?
So after the first frost is when you're going to want to plant some of your warmer season like fruits and vegetables. For example, like tomatoes, peppers, like eggplant, corn. Eggplant. Yeah, some people will do that. And like your squashes. Oh. So squash is kind of confusing. Squash is like a summer squash like zucchini. Squash can also be a winter squash like pumpkins and butternut. Pumpkins, yeah. And then also technically cucumbers are also squashes.
That would make sense. I do sometimes buy a cucumber instead of a zucchini when I'm going too fast to the grocery store.
They do look the same. So all of those plants you're going to want to wait until it's like a little bit warmer after that frost date, because the frost just essentially will kill those plants.
Amazing. So when I go to my local garden store here in a few weeks to purchase all of my plants that I want to grow, what am I looking for? What am I buying?
Yes. So there are certain plants that you want to put in the ground as like a started plant. They're called starts. So this is something that
like a grown plant.
Yes, it's like a grown plant. It's an established plant. Those are called starts. And then there are also seeds. So you can buy packets of seeds.
Okay.
Some plants you want to buy as a start. or you can like technically start them in your own basement under grow lights, and you can make your own starts that way by growing them inside for a bit. But that's too much to dive into for this episode.
Seems like a lot.
That's a lot, especially if you're starting gardening. You're not going to start like inside with grow lights. So if you go to the nursery, there are some plants that you are going to want to buy as like an already established plant in a pot with soil. And then there are some plants that you're going to actually want to purchase the seeds for.
Okay.
So I feel like it's counterintuitive because it seems like you want to buy the plant that is like the furthest along.
Yeah.
But that's actually not the case.
Okay.
So when you go to the garden store, you would want to buy like your tomatoes and your peppers, and like eggplants or anything like that further along as a start. And the reason is they just need this like longer growing period in order to produce the fruit that you want to see during the summertime.
So if you were going to grow something in your basement, it would be something like that needs like winter growth.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, this makes sense.
Same thing with the onions. Typically you can buy onions as like little tiny onions that have been like cut and are kind of like dried but still alive in like a bag. So sometimes you can do that.
Okay.
Same thing if you want to grow like strawberries or something, you would want an already established strawberry plant to plant.
Okay, this is good to know.
Yes. And then there are certain things that you would actually want to buy as seeds. So some plants just do not like being transplanted.
Okay.
And some seeds also just like it wouldn't make sense economically to like buy them already started.
Okay.
So like, for example, a lettuce seed. So typically you can buy like lettuce seeds, and instead of like sowing them in individual little things, a lot of times you'll just like scatter them. And that's how you'll plant lettuce seeds. Things like corn, you'll also want to plant into the ground. A lot of root vegetables, so like you eat the roots, so like carrots, parsnips, radishes, beets, all of those.
Potatoes.
For potatoes, okay, potatoes are like another category.
My God. Okay, never mind.
But all of those root vegetables you're going to want to plant from seed as well, because they don't like being like dug out of their soil and put into new soil. It stunts their growth.
Okay.
And all of our like peas, so the sugar snap peas and the snow peas that I talked about. I also like to grow Swiss chard from seed as well.
Okay.
Swiss chard is kind of like kale, but I feel like it's not quite as tough, and I just like love the colors that it has.
Oh, it is fun.
So it's usually called like rainbow something, I feel like, but there's like pink and yellow and green and white kinds of chards, and it just looks like so beautiful in the garden, and it's very tasty. Oh, I feel like I didn't talk about like your cruciferous vegetables.
What is that?
A cruciferous vegetable is like broccoli, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, and kale. All of those you would want to buy as a start or an already established plant. And the reason is because it does not like the hotter weather. So it's a cool season vegetable. So it needs to like finish growing before the heat of the summer kicks in.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good to know.
Yes.
Can I buy the stalk of Brussels from the grocery store?
Yes, you can.
And stick that in the ground?
Oh, wait, no, I don't think you can grow it from that. It's also like, once you see that stalk of Brussels sprouts in the grocery store, I think that's like the end.
Okay. That's the end product, not where we want to start.
Yes. I also feel like we're getting a little scattered here, but
Sorry.
Another little tidbit is that plants will only like grow for so long and still be edible. So a lot of plants can do this thing called bolting.
Okay.
And that's like essentially when it's like the plant is like, I'm near the end of my life. I need to create seeds now in order for like our lineage to continue. And once something usually like flowers, it's usually not good anymore. It usually tastes like very bitter. If you think about the plant does not want to be eaten when it's making its seeds, like even just by like other animals. So it turns very bitter. So yeah.
That's good to know.
Things that typically bolt very quickly are cilantro.
Okay.
So cilantro is another thing that's really good to grow from seed.
Okay.
But like parsley and other herbs you can buy as starts.
Okay.
And lettuce also will bolt pretty quickly.
Okay.
So that's why it's a cool season crop. You sow your lettuce seeds, you harvest them, but after like 2 to 3 months, I would say lettuce is done.
Okay. That's pretty fast.
Yes, it is pretty fast. There is something called succession sowing. I feel like I'm just like vomiting out information.
I didn't even realize that you knew this much about gardening, to be honest. The well of information with gardening is so deep, but we're going to keep it surface level. So before you get into succession sowing, Theresa.
What I want to, okay, briefly, succession sowing is like you plant some lettuce, it grows for like 2 weeks or a month, and then you can like plant some more lettuce later.
Oh, so you have lettuce. So succession sowing is so that you have the product all for a longer time.
Yeah, so it's like you eat this lettuce is growing, then you plant some more, and then you can eat the first lettuce while this one's growing, so you can come back to eat that lettuce.
So you have lettuce all season long.
Yes.
Okay, that's good to know.
That's the idea behind
I thought you were going to talk
sowing.
about how like you grow radishes first and then you harvest, and then after the radish you can plant the lettuce, and then after the lettuce you can plant a pumpkin.
Nope.
And I was like, oh my God, don't go there.
No, we did not go there.
I don't know what that's called.
I don't know. That's just figuring out how to maximize your garden.
Yeah.
Yes.
That'll come after the garden.
One thing about starts is they are really expensive. So if I were you, I would also think about like how much the start costs, and think about like if you care about a return on your investment. So sometimes people will think like, oh, I grew it myself. That's like a very special vegetable to me, so I will pay more money for that certain vegetable. But like, if you're going to pay like $6 for 3 lettuce starts, like you're not going to get $6 worth of lettuce out of 3 lettuce starts.
No, you're not.
But like a tomato for $6, like you can get a lot of tomatoes off of it.
Or zucchini, I feel
One
like.
tomato plant. Yes, zucchini is also another like good like return on investment. Some other things that are really good from seed are your squashes. So like pumpkins, cucumbers, cucumbers, and zucchini all do best from seeds as well.
Okay. So my little pumpkin garden.
Yes.
Pumpkin patch.
Yes.
I just throw my pumpkin seeds down there and it'll grow.
Yes.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I love it. Okay, Theresa. So I'm starting my garden this spring and I want to be successful. I want to be able to eat vegetables that I've actually grown. Where do I start? What should I grow? What should I not grow?
Great question. So there are definitely some plants that are like much easier to grow and like harvest from than others. If I were to suggest some easy wins, I would probably do lettuce from seed, because that comes up pretty quickly. If you have like a deeper bed with some like good soil on top, I would also do carrots, just because they are such a fun experience to just like pull out. And I also feel like carrot seeds, I mean, you could get a packet of carrot seeds for like $2. So it's like a very low investment. They don't take up a ton of space. They're really good for like the border of a bed. You can just sprinkle some seeds in, you usually trim them down. You like plant a bunch, you just sprinkle it, and then you trim them, so there's only like one every like 2 inches or so.
Okay.
And those are just like fun to have. They can also bring some really cute caterpillars into your garden, which is fun. I also love doing some herbs. So I feel like everybody should have just like a parsley plant, a basil plant. Those you can buy as starts. I also love having thyme in my garden and chives. That is a plant that will come back every single year, and that's just like so fun to have in your garden, and it's very easy. Yes, so I said lettuces. I also love the Swiss chard because it comes up and it has all these beautiful different leaves, and it's like pretty easy to grow. I also love, it's a squash plant. It's kind of like, it's adjacent to a zucchini. It pretty much is a zucchini. It's called the tromboncino squash.
What?
It is weird. And it grows, it's like a big plant. It's going to take up a lot of space. I usually trellis mine, but this is a zucchini plant that does not really get squash bugs. So squash bugs are a huge issue in our garden and in our area, but this tromboncino squash doesn't really get squash bugs as much. And what I like about it is that the fruit is like a long zucchini, and then it's got a bulb on the end, and all the seeds are in the bulb.
Very nice.
So I feel like with zucchinis, they can get really seedy very quickly.
Yeah.
But this is like, you can just like discard all the seeds if you wanted to.
Amazing.
So I love the tromboncino squash. For tomatoes, if you want like a lot of easy to pick tomatoes, I would suggest a cherry tomato.
Love.
There are 3 different kinds of tomatoes. There's like a paste tomato, which if you're gonna want to make like tomato sauce, pizza sauce, if you're gonna wanna like cook with it, you would do a paste tomato. So those are like the San Marzano tomatoes. There's also a cherry tomato. So those are like the little tiny snacking tomatoes.
Yeah, the snacking ones.
The snacking ones, those are really fun to put in like salads. I will even like chop them up kind of smaller and then mix them with balsamic and some salt and olive oil and just like put it on bread that way.
A little bruschetta.
Yeah, a little bruschetta for a little treat. And then there are the bigger tomatoes. Shoot, what's the name for them?
Beefsteak?
It's like a beefsteak or just like a Cherokee purple. Yes, the big boys. One thing that's nice about growing those is I didn't have a lot of success with mine last year. They just like didn't put on fruit right away. And they're so expensive at the grocery store.
They are.
They're like $5 a pound and they're heavy tomatoes.
Yeah.
So like if you're gonna buy one of those from the grocery store, they might be really expensive. But the cherry tomato, I feel like gives you a lot of cherries like throughout the summer. So it's really easy to like go out there and just pick some cherries for like your lunch or your dinner versus like if you get a beefsteak one, like a really big tomato, then that's like you're sitting there and you're watching it ripen on the vine. For a while.
Cherry tomatoes is where it's at.
Cherry tomatoes is where it's at.
Heard.
Another little tip about tomatoes is you can pick them off the vine when they're like just getting pink. And when they're like pink, almost starting to turn red. If you wait for it to turn red, somebody else may come along and eat them.
Okay, so pick them a little bit early.
Pick them a little bit early. You can sit them on your countertop to ripen.
Okay. What am I not growing?
What are you not growing?
Yeah, what's going to be hard and make me upset with my garden?
So obviously, like pests are different in all different areas and growing conditions are different in all different areas, but I have never had any success with cruciferous vegetables. I'm talking like the Brussels sprouts, different cabbages, and broccoli and cauliflower. Just like the squash bugs have come, or sorry, these are cabbage worms.
Okay.
The cabbage worms come so quickly and just like decimate the plant. And I have grown like broccoli and been like, it's okay, I'll just wait. And I went to cut off the broccoli top and I turned it over and it is just like covered in all these wriggling worms. And it just looked like
no thanks.
So unsettling. Also, cabbages and broccoli and cauliflower, they do take up a lot of space.
Okay.
So if you do not have a lot of space in your garden, it's like at least a foot to just grow like one head of broccoli. And that's most likely going to be decimated by worms. So,
and probably cheaper at the grocery store. So
yeah, probably cheaper at the grocery store. So all of those I have struggled with. You could personally probably grow them a little bit easier than me, but those are things that I've struggled with. Other things that I've struggled with are, let me think. It's mainly those.
Okay.
I feel like I've had really good success with beans. Beans are another plant I would suggest. You can buy them in bushes, like so it'll make a bush variety, or you can make them as like a pole bean where it grows up a fence line, like a trellis. Yeah, and those have been fun. I've grown sweet potatoes. Those were fun to do. Oh, should we talk about potato towers?
Yes, I want to do one of these. I've seen the laundry baskets.
Yes.
Is that what you're talking about?
So there are different ways to grow potatoes. Potatoes can be a little bit hard to harvest because they grow in the ground and you have to pick them up. And like one time I put them in a raised bed and I thought I had gotten them all. But then like the next year I had potato plants growing up from like potatoes that I didn't find in my raised bed from the previous year. So some people will grow potatoes in like grow bags, and it's nice because you can just like jump out all the dirt and leaf through the dirt to get out the potatoes. But you can also do this thing called potato towers, where you can use a laundry basket, like one that's tall and has the holes out the side. Or what I'll probably do is just take some like chicken wire or some of that like wire fencing and make a tower that way.
Okay.
So how you do it is you put in some like straw and some dirt or compost, and you just like put in straw, dirt, and compost, and you put in some potatoes. And potato seeds
have the eyes, right?
That's confusing. It's just the normal potato that you would eat, but it has that eye.
Yeah.
So you can technically like plant some of the organic potatoes that you get at the grocery store. Usually the non-organic kind just don't seed as well as the organic kind does. But you put those in, and then you can put some more dirt and straw, and then you put in more potatoes, and you can make just like a tower.
Potato lasagna, if you will.
Yes. Yes.
That sounds
and then
amazing.
It grows out the sides.
Oh my God, I love it.
And then one thing that's nice about potatoes too, and one thing that I'm noticing that I kind of am gravitating more towards in my garden are plants that you kind of just like sit it and forget about it.
Yeah, that sounds ideal, to be honest.
So the potato will grow all season, and it will be growing all these little baby potatoes in your potato tower. And then at the end of the season, the potatoes will die back. And then that's when you do just like a big potato harvest.
You just dump it out.
So some other plants you have to like time your harvesting right.
Okay.
I once tried to plant sweet corn, and I was like, is this ripe? Is this ripe? I was always questioning if it was ripe or not. And I looked it up, and they're like, it's best if you harvest it within like 2 to 3 days of being ripe. And I was like, that is a very small time frame.
That's too small of a time frame for me.
Yes.
I got a lot of stuff going on.
I have never been able to grow sweet corn well.
Okay.
So that is something that I have decided that I'm not going to try, but I am going to try popcorn this year.
Oh, that'll be fun.
So popcorn is really fun to grow. It's just a different variety of corn, but what's nice is you just like leave it on the plant, and you don't harvest it until like the plant dies, and then you take it off once it's
that's
dried.
great. Perfect.
Yep. Same thing with like dried beans. Like if you wanted to grow your own garbanzo beans or black beans, or there's like all these different kinds of fancy beans that you can grow.
I would ever.
But it's nice because you can just like grow them the whole summer. You just leave them the whole time, and at the end you harvest.
So I've picked out all my crops and I've planted them, but how do I make sure that they are actually growing? Like, what do I need to be doing?
Yes. So tending a garden can also kind of be overwhelming, especially when you get into like the height of summer and it's producing a lot. So things to keep in mind are watering. When you water, you want to do like a very deep water.
Okay.
Not just like spraying the hose over for a few seconds and then walking away, because you want the entire ground beneath your plant to be watered and moist.
Okay.
And then that way the plant will encourage its roots to grow down rather than out.
Okay.
If the plant grows its roots out, it's more likely to like dry out during a drought.
Okay.
So you want to do, I would say like 1 to 2 deep waters a week.
Okay. That's manageable, maybe.
Manageable unless you have seedlings. So if you've planted out little tiny seeds like for carrots or lettuce or peas or whatever you're doing, when those seedlings are really young, their roots obviously are not very big.
Right.
So if the top inch of soil dries out, that plant will dry out and it will die.
Okay. So more frequent when they're little.
Yes. Okay. So seedlings, when they're just getting started and they have some of their like first little few leaves, you almost want to water like every single day.
Okay.
Yes. And whenever you water a plant, you do not water its leaves. You literally just water the soil.
Okay.
So that's like the most efficient way to water.
I'm not turning my sprinkler on.
Yeah. You don't want to turn on your sprinkler. You just want to point the hose like at the dirt.
Perfect. Mm-hmm. Amazing.
And then, so there's watering. And then also another thing to be aware of is picking and harvesting. Mm-hmm. So some varieties of plants will produce more the more that you pick them. Love. So like things like cherry tomatoes and beans and peas, those are things that you're going to want to like harvest throughout the season as they're going, because then they'll produce more. If you stop harvesting, they'll stop producing. Okay. And even if like you have some green beans on the vine that are like way too big and are like stiff and stuff, you'll still want to take them off to encourage the plant to continue to grow.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Doable.
Yeah. And then you can also just kind of keep an eye out for pests. Like we said, like squash bugs are a big thing, and
the worms in your broccoli.
The worms and the broccoli are another big thing.
Just like critters coming to eat your stuff.
Yep. Yeah. And just kind of keeping an eye on that. I don't ever like apply pesticides. Like if my cabbage has cabbage worms, then I just pick it out. Yeah. And I will also throw it into the city compost, and not my own personal compost. Okay. If it's got like some funky things going on with it.
Good to
I
know.
I want that out of my garden.
Yeah.
And yeah, so it's just like keeping an eye on it, keeping
it
an eye on
watered, it
pests.
seems.
Yep, watered
And
harvesting.
clean.
Yes.
Amazing.
Yes.
That's doable.
Yeah.
So doing all of this, I feel like could get pretty expensive.
Yes.
What do you have in the way of like money saving tips? Because like, as with my first garden, I don't want to like blow $300 on like plants and stuff if nothing's going to grow.
I feel like it's a common joke to be like, oh, this strawberry cost me $400, because it's like to build a strawberry bed and to buy all of these plants and then to like get one strawberry and then like have the whole garden fail is really discouraging.
Yeah.
I'm a budget girly. Like if I can save money, I definitely will. A few different ways to save money are, I would say, buying a lot of plants from seed.
Okay.
And also just kind of like keeping yourself in check. Like if it's just you probably don't need 3 tomato plants.
Right. You only need one because it's going to produce.
Yes, it will produce
For a
enough
while.
for you.
Okay.
Yeah, and just kind of like keeping yourself in check, making sure you're not like planting more than you would actually use and eat, I think is important. And then also some of those like saving techniques that we talked about when we're filling our beds with dirt. Like putting in some leaves at the bottom, some small twigs, yard waste. Sometimes I will put in like not as good dirt from elsewhere in my garden if I know it's going to be like buried deep enough. Also compost. Compost can be expensive to buy, and I just make my own out in the backyard.
I do too.
Yeah. It's super easy once you get like established and like kind of get your routine going with having your own compost, but that is like a great way to also save money.
And say it gets rid of all your kitchen scraps, which I really love.
Yes.
So your trash doesn't smell horrible.
Also, like throwing out an entire watermelon rind is so painful.
Oh, it's so annoying.
It's so painful.
half your
It's
trash.
so juicy. Yes.
Such a mess.
It's such a mess. It's sticky. That's why I like love composting. But I do feel like having a garden can be just like so rewarding and so fun. And it has made me appreciate food more. Like the effort that it takes to
get
grow,
one tomato,
to
one
get
cherry tomato.
to get like a kale plant going, to pick strawberries. Like it makes me appreciate foods more and waste less food. So like that is very rewarding to me. I also love being able to share with friends, especially like those weirder varieties of plants. Like Swiss chard, I feel like is beautiful. Sometimes I'll just like cut a bunch of Swiss chard and then like put it in a jam jar and bring that over to friends.
How fun.
It's like beautiful. I'm like, I made this myself. It's also a gift that is a consumable, which I'm a huge fan of. And yeah. So like, I think like that is so rewarding. You can also grow weird things. I've grown like black carrots before.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
that's what I really want to get into, the weird stuff.
You can grow like there's dragon tongue beans, which are like green beans, but they have this like beautiful variegation along them.
See?
And you can just like grow so many cool things and it can be so rewarding. And gardening, like you don't have to be a homesteader to be a gardener. You can literally just have like a few container pots that you are like enthusiastic about.
Yeah.
You don't have to like completely like dedicate your entire life to your garden. It can just be fun.
Amazing. And that's
Yes.
what it's all about. Just like having fun and doing it anyways. You know?
Yes. And I also feel like gardening is like one huge experiment, even like year to year.
Yeah.
So if a plant doesn't work out, that's totally fine. Like plants don't work out for like very well-seasoned gardeners. It's just like you learn and you fail and you try something new, and it's all about just like making it anyways, figuring out things, having fun along the way, and really enjoying your garden.
Well, thank you so much for joining us this week on Make It Anyways for our gardening episode.
Yes, hopefully we've inspired you to maybe plant a few things this spring, even if it's just a potato tower on the side of your driveway or something like that, a container plant of a tomato or something. But growing a garden is really rewarding, and we hope we've inspired you to do some.
Make sure to subscribe to our podcast wherever you are listening, and give a like and give us a comment below.
Thank you.
Thanks.